It's 1:30 in the afternoon and you're already running on empty. You slept, you had your coffee, you're not doing anything particularly demanding, and yet you're exhausted. Most people assume that kind of tiredness is just life after 40. Late nights, busy schedules, getting older. But in a lot of cases, it's not that at all. It's your nutrition. And four specific deficiencies are responsible for more fatigue in adults over 40 than almost anything else. We're going to look at iron, B12, magnesium, and vitamin D, what each one actually does in your body, why deficiency is so common after 40, and exactly which foods will help. By the end of this, you'll know what to look for and what to do about it. Let's start with iron. Iron is what your red blood cells use to carry oxygen around your body. When your iron is low, your blood literally carries less oxygen to your muscles, your organs, your brain. Everything has to work harder just to keep going. That's why low iron doesn't just make you tired, it makes you foggy, breathless, and heavy. After 40, iron becomes harder to absorb efficiently, and if you've reduced your red meat intake, which many people do, your intake drops at the same time your absorption does. Red meat is still the most bioavailable source, meaning the iron your body can actually use, but lentils, spinach, and tofu are solid plant-based options. The key with plant iron is pairing it with vitamin C. It dramatically increases how much you absorb. So squeeze lemon over your lentils, have orange slices with your spinach. That small habit makes a real difference. Next, B12. This one is critical, and it's one of the most commonly missed deficiencies. B12 is essential for two things that directly affect your energy. First, it helps convert the food you eat into usable fuel. Second, it maintains the protective sheath around your nerve fibers. When that sheath breaks down, nerve signals slow. That shows up as fatigue, brain fog, and that strange, heavy feeling in your limbs. As you age, your stomach naturally produces less of a compound called intrinsic factor, which is what you need to absorb B12 from food. So even if you're eating B12-rich foods, you may be absorbing far less than you think. The best food sources are animal products: meat, fish, eggs, dairy. If you eat those regularly, you may be fine. But if you've reduced animal foods or you're over 50, a B12 supplement is one of the few I genuinely recommend without hesitation. Quick question before we carry on. If you've had your iron or B12 tested recently, drop it in the comments. A lot of people discover a deficiency and have no idea how long it's been going on. You might be surprised. Now, magnesium, and this is the one most people have never even considered. Magnesium is involved in over 300 chemical reactions in your body, but for energy specifically, it sits right at the center of how your mitochondria work. Your mitochondria are your cell's power stations. They take in nutrients and convert them into ATP, which is the actual fuel your body runs on. Magnesium is essential to that conversion process. Without enough of it, your cells genuinely cannot produce energy efficiently. Magnesium also regulates your nervous system and your sleep quality, so low magnesium can mean poor sleep, which compounds the fatigue, a cycle that just keeps feeding itself. The best sources are dark leafy greens, nuts and seeds, particularly pumpkin seeds, and dark chocolate. The issue is that modern soils are genuinely depleted in magnesium compared to 50 years ago, so even people eating well can run low. Finally, vitamin D. Most people think of vitamin D as a bone health nutrient, and it is, but it also plays a direct role in energy production and muscle function. Low vitamin D is consistently linked to fatigue, muscle weakness, and low mood, especially in the winter months. If you live above roughly the latitude of Spain, that includes all of the UK, Canada, and most of the northern US, your skin simply cannot produce enough vitamin D from sunlight between October and April. The angle of the sun is too low. Food sources, oily fish, egg yolks, fortified foods can help, but they rarely move the needle enough on their own. A daily vitamin D3 supplement in the winter months is genuinely one of the most sensible things you can do, particularly if you're in the northern half of the world. So, if you're tired and you can't explain why, start here. iron for oxygen delivery, B12 for energy conversion and nerve function, magnesium for your cell's power output, vitamin D for muscle function and mood. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Pick the one that resonates most, look at your diet this week, and see if it's actually there. If this was useful, subscribe. We cover all of this and more across every aspect of nutrition after 40, and I'll see you in the next one.